Hello, gorgeous people, and let's talk about how to get even more gorgeous. Today's video, as the title shows, is all about skincare, including luxury skincare, as this channel is all about luxury, but also very affordable options. As the video is titled, we're talking about skincare routines at the $20, $200, and $2,000 price point. That none of the following is medical advice. The following is based on my personal experiences as an absolute skincare fanatic that has tried almost every product and every treatment option under the sun when it comes to skincare. So this video comes from a place of experience. I am sharing what has worked for me and what I would do if I was at any of these different price points. Because guess what? I have experienced all these price points at different points in my life. I mean, secretly, I've even experienced the $2 skincare routine price point. But I wanted to keep the video concise, so I chose, $20, $200, and $2,000 instead. The other disclaimer I'm going to make is that I love all of you guys, and I'm so thankful for all of the viewers, and I know that you're watching from all different countries because I can see on the back end of my analytics. So $20 Canadian, where I'm filming right now, versus $20 USD, for example, can mean very different things. And in terms of currency used in this video, I tried to use a blended currency of like Canadian versus US versus euros, for example. But the disclaimer that I'll keep mentioning throughout this video is that if we're talking about 20 USD, that's going to stretch a lot further than 20 Canadian. So just something to keep in mind. Now, let's get into it. When it comes to the $20 routine, we are going to be talking about the most fundamental aspects of skincare. There are very few skincare treatments that are backed by science. They include cosmetic procedures like Botox, which is not something I personally participate in. But you know what else is on that list? Do you know what is on the list of the 3 only ever scientifically approved skincare treatments? Sunscreen. So if we're talking the $20 skincare bundle, I would put in there a sunscreen, a basic lotion, and a basic cleanser. In terms of the cheapest of these 3 things, we would skimp the most on the cleanser because it is the item that is on your face the least. When it comes to moisturizer, they've done studies, believe it or not, that products like La Mer, an iconic cult followed product for us skincare girlies out there, products like La Mer are over 90% dupes to Nivea. Nivea, yes, with inflation, that tub of Nivea has gone up a lot in price, but it used to be $1 Nivea tub could over 90% match the quality and results of a $250 La Mer tub. So if I was going to recommend a brand, I would do something like a Nivea. And when it comes to sunscreen, the biggest thing I'm going to say is make sure you run the sunscreen you're looking at into an algorithm like the EWG certified products, because you would not believe how many products there are on the market that are far less protective than they indicate themselves to be. And even worse, some products that actively cause you harm by coming into contact with your skin, aka the largest organ on your body. When we're building the $20 skincare routine, we're going to be talking about a cleanser. Could be from the dollar store, okay? Just make sure it's not too stripping of the oils and the good stuff in your skin. We're going to be talking about a moisturizer like a Nivea. And when it comes to sunscreen, personally, because there is so much skin cancer in Australia, Australian sunscreens are deemed to be the best in the world. And one of my favorites is the brand Blue Lizard from Australia, and it is EWG certified. Like I mentioned, you should look for sunscreens that are. If they're not explicitly EWG certified, at least a sunscreen that's like a 1, 2, or 3 on the EWG scale. Now, the $200 skincare girlies, $200 stretches a lot further than $20. And if you're watching this from the US, for example, my $200 in Canada is going to buy you $300 worth of products in the US. So kudos to you on that front. This is what I meant with a disclaimer about the currencies will vary a bit. Depending on where in the world you're watching this, $200 in your currency could even buy you products like medical grade retinols. But let's say you're watching from a country where the $200 cannot go that far in your currency. What would I suggest you build your skincare routine with? First of all, a little bit of a better cleanser than the $20 girlies, okay? And I would suggest that in your morning routine, there is some sort of vitamin C involved. My skincare at this point is all medical grade, but vitamin C, I'm going to let you in on a secret, is a very cheap, medically speaking, ingredient. I use medical grade stuff because at this point, part of it is the mental as well. I'm scared not to. But I know that some of my $180, $250 vitamin C's can be replaced by $20 vitamin C's and the world would still go around. So again, you're going to use a vitamin C. It does not have to be the most expensive on the market. Even brands like The Ordinary can have sufficient vitamin C's. It is an inherently cheap medical or cosmetic product. What else we're going to use in the morning? We're going to use a moisturizer. Guess what? It can still be the Nivea. You can always upgrade in brand if you want. And a funny thing is, moisturizers in a lot of the medical grade brands are often one of their cheaper products. So for example, serums from a medical grade skincare brand will always be like 2 or 3 times the price of a moisturizer, which echoes the scientific or medical truth that moisturizers are not that inherently expensive either. So you don't need to splash out on the biggest one. You could still use the Nivea at the $200 price point. And then we're going to top it off with a sunscreen. Make sure it's EWG certified. Now at nighttime is where the game gets a little more advanced at the $200 price point, because I would suggest, if your skin can tolerate it, anecdote, I had once a dermatologist that was very open and vulnerable about her skincare experiences. She had suffered irreparable burns to her under eye area as a result of being a dermatologist and still not knowing how to use retinol. Retinol is a very tough and tricky game. You know at the beginning of the video though how I mentioned that there are 3 things that science has only ever shown to be effective in the appearance of anti-aging. 1 was sunscreen, which is a mega hit. 2 was retinol, aka vitamin A. And 3, I already mentioned, was Botox, but I don't dabble in that because truthfully, I don't need to. But on the retinol front, at the $200 price point, if you're watching it in the US and that means like $300 of buying power for you, you can afford the medical grade retinol from brands like IS Clinical, from brands like SkinCeuticals, from brands of that level. However, there are still a lot of drugstore affordable retinols. You just have to be careful because 90% of drugstore retinols are not that effective, but the 10% that are. There is a dermatologist on TikTok and YouTube called Shireen Idris. That's her name is something like that. Shireen, I mean, you would know her if you're in the skincare community because she actually just launched her brand at Sephora. She has a lot of content on drugstore affordable retinol before she had her own brand. So I would impute some more authenticity there. And you're going to put on either that drugstore retinol or that medical grade retinol. And again, top it off with a moisturizer at nighttime as well. It can still be the Nivea from the morning because that's going to give us a little bit of money in the bank left over for one last product I suggested, the $200 price point, and that's going to be some sort of exfoliation. There's chemical exfoliators, there are physical exfoliators. One microfoliant that I use every day is a Dermatologica rice powder. It's gentle enough to use every day, which means that our products are going to go deeper in our skin as opposed to slapped on top of dead skin cells, and aka not giving us value for $1. Now the $2,000 routine, I mean, why are you still watching? You can go out there and splash out on any product and make your own content on what you like the most. But all jokes aside, I posted a video when I first started this channel about a year ago called Lawyer's Daily $4,500 Skincare Routine, that individual obviously being myself. So, and I did mention in that video that I do receive treatments, but I didn't list them because obviously those are not daily things. At the $2,000 price point, not talking again about injectables, Botoxes, things like that, You can do so much for your skin. I mean, 300-400 it's going to cost you for that monthly microneedling, 300-400 for that monthly lasering. Extremely recommend the laser microneedle combo. Note, I'm not talking about microdermabrasion. That's just intense exfoliation. I'm talking about microneedling, physically and intentionally damaging your skin to make it younger in the long term, produce more collagen, bring it up to the surface, have it fight off all the bad stuff. That's very simple math, so to speak, but just giving you the big picture. So at the $2,000 price point, you're going to do those treatments every month. You can even afford to splash out on like a fun facial every month, you know, a hydrofacial, a fire and ice facial, whatever you like. You can afford to experiment. At the $2,000 price point, it's basically the $200 skincare routine, but I better see all those products being medical grade. And if you have money left over, I highly recommend an at-home sort of device. There are at-home infrared technologies that are both cleared by the FDA if you're watching from the US, but also scientifically recommended, so to speak. One that I personally use is the Omnilux Red Light Therapy Mask. That is something that science has shown to be a lot more favorable in the anti-aging game than something like the New Face, I think it's called, the stuff that like shakes your skin and makes you think that it's like toning you up. Dermatologists have done studies. Toning muscles has almost nothing to do with anti-aging because there is no handheld at-home device that is actually going deep enough to shake up your muscles and make them like snap into shape again. That is not how muscle building works in the body, and the face is part of the body. So if you're going to buy a device at home, have it be the red light therapy mask. Do not do the microneedling and stuff like that at home. We don't need those infections at large. I do not recommend the muscle toning devices, like I just said. Foreo, that's the other brand. Foreo and New Face, I think, are the two, main brands in that category, depending on where you're watching from. And again, when it comes to the products, medical grade, all of them, including brands like IS Clinical. Listen, just because it's medical grade, by the way, doesn't mean it's foolproof. Illumia is a medical grade skincare brand that I have not had good experiences with, although they're famous for certain products like their vitamin C's. Not my favorite. So even within the medical grade community, you still have to fight around for your best shot because everybody's skin is different. However, the products are much more likely to be guaranteed. They have been clinically tested. That is today's video. I mean, did I talk your ear off yet? I could talk about skincare. I'm trying to keep this video like 10-15 minutes. I could talk 10-15 hours about skincare and do it all again tomorrow. So show some love. What did you like about this video? What products that I talked about, whether it's brands or product types, do you like to use or have you had negative experiences with? And just to slip it in there, when I mentioned my $2 skincare days, we were talking about the hand soap, washing my face with that, and then my whole $2 skincare investment was going to the tub of Nivea that they used to sell at the dollar store. On that note, this is a luxury channel nowadays. We are blessed for that, and I am also blessed for all of you guys watching, showing love, clicking like, clicking subscribe, and sharing your comments. I love your comments. Let me know what you thought about this video and which of the routines I mentioned is more like your current routine. I will see you next week on another luxury video. Thank you for watching.